Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My dear brothers and sisters, let me ask you something very honest. Have you ever stood in Tahajjud when the whole world was asleep and your heart felt heavier than usual? The room was quiet. The lights were off. No one knew you had woken up. You stood before Allah, raised your hands, and whispered a dua you have carried in your heart for a long time. Ya Allah, if there is someone written for me, bring my spouse closer. And then the tears came. Not loud tears, not dramatic tears, just quiet tears that fall, because the heart has been waiting, hoping, trusting for so long. When the prayer ends, you sit there for a moment. The night is still silent. Nothing around you seems different. The same life, the same waiting, the same unanswered questions. And sometimes, a thought quietly passes through the heart. Did my tears really reach Allah? But here is a truth many people forget. The tears that fall in Tahajjud are never ordinary tears. They fall in the most sacred time of the night, a time when Allah's mercy descends, a time when du'as rise higher, a time when hearts speak more honestly than at any other moment of the day. And while you may feel like nothing is changing, Allah may already be working in the unseen. He may be protecting you from the wrong people. He may be shaping your heart for the right love. He may be guiding someone, somewhere, who is also making dua in the night. Because sometimes the very tears you hide in Tahajjud are the same tears Allah uses to move your destiny. And the spouse you are praying for may already be moving closer, step by step, through the unseen plan of the one who never ignores a sincere heart. So if you have ever cried in Tahajjud asking Allah for marriage, this message is for you. Because tonight we will uncover something deeply powerful. Why those silent tears may be one of the most important parts of the love story Allah is writing for your future. Tahajjud reveals the most honest part of your heart. During the day, people learn how to hide many things. They hide their worries. They hide their loneliness. They hide the pain they carry inside. In front of others, they try to appear strong. They smile even when their heart feels heavy. They say they are fine, even when they are not. This is how life works during the daytime. People protect their image. They protect their pride. They protect the way others see them. But Tahajjud is different. Tahajjud removes those layers. When a person wakes up in the quiet middle of the night, leaves the comfort of their bed, makes wudu, and stands before Allah, something inside them becomes very real. There is no one to impress, no one to prove anything to, no one watching. The world is asleep, and in that silence, the heart begins to speak honestly. A person may raise their hands and say only a few simple words. Ya Allah, you know what is inside my heart. Sometimes those words are followed by tears, not loud crying, not dramatic emotion, just quiet tears that fall because the heart has been carrying something for a long time. This is one of the most sincere moments a person can experience. Because when someone cries in Tahajjud, they are not turning to people for comfort. They are turning directly to the one who created their heart. They are admitting their weakness before the one who has every solution. And this honesty has enormous value in the sight of Allah. Allah does not judge the beauty of your words. He does not look at how perfect your dua sounds. He looks at the truth inside your heart. He sees the struggle you have been carrying. He sees the patience you have been trying to hold. He sees the nights when you felt alone but still turned back to Him. Even when your words feel small, Allah understands the full story behind them. A simple whisper in the night can carry more sincerity than a long speech during the day. That is why Tahajjud is so powerful. It is the moment when a servant stops pretending to be strong and finally allows their heart to be completely honest before Allah. And when a heart reaches that level of sincerity, the dua that comes from it is never ordinary. It carries a weight that only Allah fully understands. The delay is often Allah preparing you. One of the most difficult feelings a person can experience is wanting something that is completely halal, yet still having to wait for it. You are not asking for something forbidden. You are not asking for something harmful. You are asking for something pure. You want companionship. You want a home built on mercy. You want a spouse who helps you protect your faith. So when that desire stays unanswered for a long time, the heart naturally begins to ask questions. Why is this taking so long? Why are others finding marriage while I am still waiting? Why am I crying in Tahajjud and still seeing no clear answer? These questions are human, but sometimes the delay is not a sign that Allah is refusing you. Sometimes the delay is part of the preparation. Think about this carefully. Marriage is not just about finding someone you like. It is about sharing your life with another soul. It is about patience when misunderstandings happen. It is about kindness when emotions become heavy. It is about forgiveness when mistakes are made. It is about responsibility when life becomes difficult. Marriage requires emotional maturity, and sometimes Allah knows that if a person receives a blessing too early, they may not yet know how to protect it. So the waiting period becomes a quiet training ground. During this time, Allah teaches you things that cannot be learned quickly. He teaches patience when your heart feels tired. He teaches trust when the future feels unclear. He teaches self-control when your desires become strong. He teaches you how to rely on Him instead of relying completely on people. Many people only see the pain of waiting, but they do not see the transformation happening inside them during that time. The person who keeps turning to Allah in Tahajjud while waiting slowly becomes stronger. Their heart becomes deeper. Their faith becomes more stable. Their expectations become wiser. They begin to understand that marriage is not only about finding someone who loves them, it is about finding someone who will help them stay close to Allah for the rest of their life. And that kind of marriage cannot be rushed carelessly. Allah does not send such blessings randomly. He prepares hearts for them. Sometimes He prepares you. Sometimes He prepares the other person. Sometimes He prepares the circumstances that will allow the two of you to meet at the right moment. What looks like silence in your life may actually be quiet preparation. What feels like delay may actually be protection. And what feels like waiting may actually be Allah shaping you into the kind of person who will recognize and appreciate the blessing when it finally arrives. Because when Allah gives something after patience, the heart holds it differently. It values it more. It protects it more. And it thanks Allah for it in a deeper way. So if your dua for marriage has taken time, do not assume that nothing is happening. Allah may simply be preparing you for something that deserves to arrive at the right moment, not the rushed moment. Tahajjud purifies what you are asking for. When a person first begins making dua for marriage, their request is often shaped by emotions. They imagine a certain type of person, a certain personality, a certain face, a certain story they hope their life will follow. This is very natural. The heart builds pictures of the future. It imagines how life might look. It hopes that a specific person will become part of that story. So the dua often begins with a very clear image in the mind. Ya Allah, give me this person. Ya Allah, make this relationship work. Ya Allah, let this love become my future. But something slowly changes when a person keeps returning to Allah in Tahajjud, night after night. When the world is silent and the heart speaks honestly, the dua begins to grow deeper. The heart begins to realize something important. It realizes that Allah sees what we cannot see. He sees the future that we do not know. He sees the character inside people that we cannot fully understand. He sees how someone might treat us years later when the excitement fades and real life begins. And when the heart begins to understand this, the dua slowly becomes wiser. Instead of asking for a specific person, the heart begins asking for the right person. Instead of saying, Ya Allah, give me the person I want, the dua begins to change into something more beautiful. Ya Allah, give me the person who is best for my faith. Ya Allah, give me someone who will protect my heart. Ya Allah, give me someone who will help me reach Jannah. Ya Allah, do not give me what I desire if it will harm me. This is the purification that Tahajjud creates. Tahajjud slowly removes the illusions that emotions sometimes build. It teaches the heart that attraction alone is not enough. Someone can be attractive and still damage your peace. Someone can be charming and still weaken your faith. Someone can seem perfect in the beginning and still bring difficulty later. But a righteous spouse brings something much deeper. They bring tranquility. They remind you of Allah when you forget. They support you when life becomes heavy. They protect your heart instead of confusing it. Tahajjud helps the heart stop chasing fantasy and start seeking barakah. This transformation is very important because when your dua becomes focused on righteousness instead of personal desire, your heart begins to align with Allah's wisdom. And when your heart aligns with Allah's wisdom, your prayers become more powerful. The believer slowly learns to trust that Allah's choice will always be better than their imagination. Because the heart can see the present, but Allah sees the entire future. And when a person keeps crying in tahajjud and asking Allah for what is truly best, their dua becomes cleaner, purer, and stronger. It is no longer just a request for love. It becomes a request for a life built on mercy, faith, and peace. Tahajjud changes you before it changes your life. When people begin waking up for tahajjud, they usually have a clear hope in their heart. They want something in their life to change. They want a problem to be solved. They want a door to open. They want a prayer to be answered. So they stand in the quiet of the night and ask Allah for the future they are hoping for. Sometimes that hope is marriage. They ask Allah to send the right person. They ask Allah to open the path toward a halal relationship. They ask Allah to remove loneliness and replace it with companionship. But something very interesting often happens during this journey. Before Allah changes the situation around you, He begins by changing you. At first, you may not notice it. You are still waking up with the same life, the same room, the same routine, the same unanswered questions. But slowly, something inside your heart begins to transform. Tahajjud begins to reshape the way you carry your emotions. The person who once felt overwhelmed by loneliness begins to feel calmer. The person who once felt desperate for answers begins to feel more patient. The person who once depended heavily on people's attention begins to depend more on Allah. This change happens quietly. You begin to trust Allah more deeply. You begin to speak to Him more openly. You begin to feel that even if life is not perfect yet, you are not alone in carrying it. The heart becomes stronger in ways that are difficult to explain. Instead of constantly searching for comfort from people, the heart begins to find comfort in prayer. Instead of feeling lost when plans do not work out, the heart becomes more at peace with Allah's timing. Instead of feeling broken by delay, the heart becomes more stable and hopeful. This transformation is one of the hidden gifts of tahajjud, because a healthy heart is one of the most important foundations of a healthy marriage. Many people enter relationships carrying heavy emotional wounds. They depend too much on the other person to fill every emptiness in their life. They expect the other person to fix their loneliness, their insecurities, and their fears. But when a person spends nights speaking honestly with Allah, something beautiful happens. Their heart becomes more balanced. They still desire love, but they no longer feel empty without it. They still hope for marriage, but their peace does not disappear while waiting. They begin to understand that their true stability comes from Allah first. And when someone enters marriage with that kind of heart, the relationship becomes healthier. They love their spouse deeply, but they do not place their entire emotional survival on that person. They appreciate the blessing without turning it into an unhealthy dependency. This is why tahajjud changes you before it changes your life. It strengthens your soul. It cleans your intentions. It softens your heart while also making it stronger. By the time Allah opens the door you have been waiting for, you are no longer the same person who first started making that dua. You are calmer. You are wiser. You are more patient. And most importantly, your heart has learned that the real source of peace was never going to be another human being. The real source of peace was always Allah. And when that understanding enters your heart, every blessing that comes afterward becomes even more beautiful. Some tears protect you from the wrong person. When a person asks Allah for marriage, their heart is usually filled with hope. They imagine meeting someone who understands them, someone who brings peace into their life, someone who becomes their partner in faith and in life. This hope is natural. Allah created human beings with the need for companionship. The desire for love and connection is not weakness. It is part of how we were created. But there is something the human heart often forgets. We can only see what is in front of us. We see someone smile. We see their personality. We see how they make us feel in the moment. But we cannot see the full reality of a person. We cannot see the future version of them. We cannot see the hidden habits they carry. We cannot see the way they might behave when life becomes difficult. Allah sees all of that. He sees what a person is like when no one is watching. He sees how they treat people when they are angry. He sees how their character will unfold years later. This is why sometimes Allah closes a door that the heart strongly wanted to open. And when that happens, it hurts deeply. The heart had already begun to imagine a future. It had already built emotional attachment. It had already created hopes around that person. So when the door closes, it feels like something beautiful was taken away. But in many cases, what feels like loss is actually protection. Your tahajjud tears are not only asking Allah to bring someone into your life, they are also asking Him to protect your heart from what could damage it. Sometimes Allah answers that prayer by removing someone quietly, a relationship that never progresses, a proposal that never happens, a connection that slowly fades away. In the moment, this can feel confusing. You may wonder why something you wanted so much did not work out. But Allah's wisdom reaches further than our emotions. He may be protecting you from a marriage that would have brought constant conflict. He may be protecting you from someone who would weaken your relationship with Allah. He may be protecting you from a future filled with stress, emotional pain, or regret. Many people only understand this years later. They look back at someone they once desperately wanted, and they realize that the person was never truly right for them. What once felt like heartbreak now looks like mercy. What once felt like rejection now looks like guidance. Your tahajjud tears were never ignored. They were heard. And sometimes the first way Allah answers your dua is by removing the wrong people from your path. This is not punishment. It is protection. Allah does not only give blessings, He also shields His servants from harm they cannot see. So if someone left your life after you prayed for guidance, do not always assume that you lost something valuable. Sometimes Allah closed that door because He saw something your heart was too hopeful to notice. And the tears you cried in the night were part of the reason He protected you. Because the dua of a sincere heart does not only attract what is good, it also pushes away what would have broken you. Allah works in the unseen before the answer appears. Human beings are naturally impatient with uncertainty. When we ask for something, we want to see movement. We want clear signs. We want proof that our prayer is being answered. If days pass with no change, the heart begins to wonder. If months pass, the questions become stronger. Is anything happening? Did Allah hear my dua? Why does my life still look the same? But one of the most important truths a believer must understand is that Allah often works in the unseen long before the visible answer appears. What we can see with our eyes is only a very small part of reality. The rest of Allah's plan moves quietly beyond our sight. When a person cries in tahajjud and asks Allah for a righteous spouse, many things may already begin shifting in ways they cannot see. Somewhere, another person may be growing spiritually. Someone may be leaving habits that once made them unready for marriage. Someone may be returning to their faith after a period of distance. Families may be changing circumstances. Opportunities may be forming. Paths may be slowly moving closer together. None of this is visible yet, but Allah is the Lord of the unseen. He controls hearts. He controls timing. He controls meetings between people that seem completely random to us. Many of the most important moments in life look ordinary when they happen. Two people meet through a simple introduction. A conversation begins unexpectedly. A situation changes that suddenly opens a door. To the outside world, these moments look like coincidence. But the believer knows that nothing in Allah's plan is random. What appears sudden to us may have been arranged long before we noticed it. Years of preparation can exist behind a single moment. This is why patience in dua is so important. Because while you are waiting, Allah may already be arranging details that you cannot yet see. He may be guiding someone toward the right path. He may be removing obstacles that would have made a future marriage difficult. He may be protecting both hearts until the right time arrives. Allah's timing is never careless. He does not rush blessings in a way that harms His servants. Instead, He brings things into our lives at the moment when they can grow in the best way. And when the answer finally appears, it can feel sudden. A door that seemed closed for years suddenly opens. A path that never existed before suddenly becomes clear. But the believer understands something deeper. That moment did not begin that day. It began long before, in the unseen, when Allah first heard the sincere dua of a heart calling to Him in the quiet of the night. So when you cry in Tahajjud and feel like nothing is changing, remind yourself of this truth. Just because you cannot see movement does not mean nothing is happening. Allah may already be writing the next chapter of your life, and the answer to your tears may already be traveling toward you, step by step, through the unseen plans of the one who controls every destiny. The waiting period builds a stronger heart. Waiting is one of the most difficult experiences for the human heart, especially when the thing you are waiting for is something pure. You are not waiting for wealth. You are not waiting for status. You are waiting for companionship. You are waiting for someone who will walk through life beside you, someone who will understand your struggles, someone who will share your faith, your hopes, and your future. So when that kind of desire stays unanswered for a long time, the heart can feel tired. It may begin to wonder if something is wrong. You might look around and see people getting married while your life still feels paused. You may attend weddings and smile for others while quietly wondering when your own moment will arrive. These feelings are human, but what many people do not realize is that the waiting period is not empty. Allah often uses waiting to build a stronger heart. During waiting, the believer learns patience in a way that cannot be learned through comfort. Patience is not simply saying, "I will wait." True patience is continuing to trust Allah, even when the timeline is unclear. It is waking up for Tahajjud even when the answer has not arrived yet. It is protecting your heart from bitterness while others move forward in life. It is choosing halal patience instead of rushing into something that may harm your faith. These choices slowly strengthen the soul. The heart becomes deeper. It becomes more aware of Allah. It begins to understand that the purpose of life is not simply to receive what we want quickly. The purpose is to grow closer to Allah through every stage of the journey. Waiting also teaches emotional balance. The person who has waited learns how to control their desires. They learn how to stay calm when emotions become heavy. They learn how to trust Allah instead of making desperate decisions. These lessons become extremely valuable later in marriage, because every marriage will face challenges. There will be misunderstandings. There will be stressful moments. There will be times when patience is needed more than anything else. The heart that has been trained through waiting already understands how to remain calm during difficulty. It already knows how to turn to Allah instead of reacting with anger or frustration. In this way, the waiting period becomes preparation. It builds the emotional strength that will protect the relationship later. It teaches the heart how to love with maturity instead of desperation. It teaches the heart that real peace does not come from rushing into something quickly. Real peace comes from trusting Allah's timing. And when a blessing finally arrives after patience, it carries a different kind of sweetness. The heart values it more. It protects it more carefully. It thanks Allah more deeply, because the believer understands that what came after patience was not random. It was a gift that arrived at exactly the moment Allah knew it would be best. So if your heart is still waiting, do not think of this time as wasted. Allah may be strengthening you in ways that will one day protect your future. And the patience you are learning now may become one of the greatest gifts you bring into the marriage you are praying for. Tahajjud tears are never wasted. One of the quiet fears that sometimes enters the human heart is this thought: what if my prayers change nothing? When a person wakes up again and again for Tahajjud, raises their hands, and asks Allah for something deeply important like marriage, the heart naturally hopes to see a clear answer. But when days pass, and then months pass, and life still looks the same, the mind can begin to whisper doubts. Did my tears matter? Did my dua reach Allah? Was my prayer too small? But the believer must remember something very important. Nothing that is given sincerely to Allah is ever wasted. Not a single tear, not a single whispered dua, not a single moment of patience. Allah is Alim, the one who knows everything. He knows the tears that fall from your eyes, even when no one else notices. He knows the nights when you woke up tired but still stood in prayer. He knows the quiet pain you carried while smiling during the day. Every one of those moments is known to Him. And in Islam, sincerity has incredible value. The Prophet ﷺ taught us that Allah is close to His servants, especially when they call upon Him. When a believer turns to Allah in the last third of the night, they are speaking during one of the most blessed times of the entire day. This is not an ordinary moment. This is a time when mercy descends, a time when doors of acceptance open, a time when hearts speak with the deepest honesty. So when tears fall during Tahajjud, they are not falling into emptiness. They are rising toward the one who controls every destiny. Sometimes Allah answers a dua quickly. The door opens sooner than expected. Sometimes the answer arrives slowly. The heart is strengthened through patience before the blessing comes. And sometimes Allah answers in ways the servant did not originally imagine. Instead of giving exactly what the heart asked for, He gives something better, something safer, something more beneficial for faith and life. But the important truth remains the same. Every sincere tear has meaning. Sometimes those tears soften the heart and bring it closer to Allah. Sometimes they remove hidden sins and purify the soul. Sometimes they protect a person from choices that would have harmed them. And sometimes those tears become part of the reason Allah writes a beautiful future for them. The believer may not always see the connection immediately, but one day, when the path becomes clear, they may look back and realize something incredible. The nights they thought were silent were never silent. The prayers they thought were unanswered were actually shaping their future. The tears they thought were small were seen and recorded by Allah. And the love story they are living now may have begun long ago, on a quiet night, when they stood in Tahajjud and whispered a sincere dua through their tears. So never believe that your Tahajjud tears are wasted. If they were shed sincerely for the sake of Allah, they already carry value beyond what the eyes can see. And perhaps even now, the answer to those tears is slowly unfolding in ways your heart will one day understand. Before we end, take a quiet moment with your heart. If you have ever stood in Tahajjud with tears in your eyes, asking Allah for a righteous spouse, know that those moments were never unseen. Allah saw you when the world was asleep. Allah heard the whisper of your heart. Allah recorded every tear that fell for His sake. So raise your heart with me in this dua. Ya Allah, the turner of hearts, guide our hearts toward what is best for our faith and our future. Ya Allah, if marriage is good for us, bring into our lives a spouse who will bring us closer to you. Grant us a partner who protects our deen, strengthens our iman, and fills our home with mercy, patience, and love. Ya Allah, remove from our path anyone who would harm our hearts, weaken our faith, or lead us away from you. Protect us from relationships that look beautiful on the outside but carry pain inside. Ya Allah, prepare our hearts for the blessings you have written for us. Teach us patience while we wait. Teach us trust when the path feels unclear, and make our waiting a source of reward, not sadness. Ya Allah, if somewhere there is a person written for us, guide them toward righteousness. Protect their heart, and bring our paths together at the moment that is best in your wisdom. And if the answer to our dua has not arrived yet, fill our hearts with peace, knowing that your plans are always better than our imagination. Ya Allah, never let our hearts become tired of turning back to you. Make Tahajjud a light in our lives, a place where our hearts find comfort, and a door through which your mercy enters our future. Amen. And remember this, sometimes the quiet tears you shed in Tahajjud are not just tears. They are seeds, seeds of patience, seeds of trust, seeds of a future that Allah is preparing in ways you cannot yet see. So keep turning to Him, because the one who hears you in the silence of the night is the same one who holds the key to every beautiful beginning.